Alright, so I just wanted to clarify some things that I said in my last video because I think that it's really important. Because I mean what I said, but I just wanted to expand on it a little bit more. So one thing that I said was that I was going to force myself to do certain things. Like one thing I was talking about was I was going to force myself to learn the chords in my new songs because I'm playing by ear. So I'll just write the song, play it, and then afterwards figure out what it is I'm going to play. So obviously part of that is going to take me having discipline and taking the time to do that and iron that out. It's not going to be super fun, but I know it's going to be worth it. So it is going to take discipline for me to do that. At the same time, I don't necessarily have that strength within myself. I genuinely view that as like I need to rely on God's strength, not just to, learn the chords, but write the songs and release the songs, face my fears, all those kinds of things. I rely heavily on God to help me do that. If somebody else is trying to do that, they might get really frustrated and discouraged if, you're trying to force yourself to figure out the chords that you're playing and, you can't do it, you give up, whatever. I just wanted to share that because I don't want other people to get discouraged. If they see me doing it, I just wanted to clarify that if I'm doing it, it's because I'm relying on a source of strength outside of myself to be able to do that. And that helps a lot. The other thing that I said is that we're never going to be perfect. And that is true on this side of eternity. But I did just want to clarify that as a Christian, I do believe that Jesus has redeemed us and that there will be new heaven, new earth. God will restore things. And as a believer in Jesus, I will, have a resurrected body that is not cursed from the fall in the garden with Adam and Eve. So I just wanted to clarify that as well, that even though we're never going to be perfect, in Christ there is hope. And I do, kind of look to that a lot as a promise. I still have my flesh. I still am at war with my sin, but someday that war won't exist anymore as I am, working on my progressive sanctification, trying to look more like Jesus every day. I have hope that someday I'll be there. Not by my own works or anything that I do, just because of God's grace and His gift. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify on those things really fast. And that is a lot of what my first song that I'm writing is about, is, just accepting weakness in myself and relying on a source of strength outside of myself, because I know that my capacity is very limited. I've been learning that. It's been a pretty hard life and a pretty hard few years, but the beauty in that is I can see humility, how that has helped me learn to be humble, and also to find joy in who God is and what He has promised, and to know that right now, earthly things are passing away, but God is everlasting. And, what glorifies Him, that is everlasting as well. Anyway, I plan on recording the guitar part in this little studio. I did rearrange. I don't know if you can tell from my last video, the background's a little different. Work in progress, as are all things. But yeah, I'm going to record the guitar part and, probably then do the vocals later in the week. One thing that I have to learn how to do is punch audio in Ableton. So when I got the Volt 176, it comes with Ableton 11 Lite, I'm pretty sure. So, I'm used to using Pro Tools in our other studio, so I'm still kind of learning Ableton a little bit. Obviously, I can record on Ableton, but I haven't figured out how to punch yet. So I'm gonna have to learn how to do that. Or we'll see how it goes, just for the sake of it, in, light of this trying to be an embrace of imperfection and not overproducing. I might just try to get it in one take and not edit out things, not punch. That's another idea that I'm going with. So that's kind of like my little encouragement and I guess mini lesson for you and for me today is to not get stopped by limits. Like, don't allow limits to just make you be stuck. Sometimes those limits can help you be more creative. So I like the idea of doing it in one take and not worrying about punching it right now because that really fits with this project. And I think that that adds to the creativity of the project as opposed to being a detriment. So, yeah, just something to think about if you're feeling stuck or inadequate or like you don't have the knowledge or the skills that you need. Obviously, of course, take time to learn and improve and grow in your abilities and your skills, but also, like, in the meantime, try to think outside the box. And maybe there's a way that you can use that to help make your project more unique. I don't mean this in a judgmental way. I think it's amazing that people are being creative and that so many people can make music. Lots of good things going on. I do notice with a lot of music that's released now that there's kind of a lack of originality. Um, it kind of seems like a lot of people are just following a recipe and producing it to sound perfect, and it kind of doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of nuance or character or vulnerability to it. And I think that's cool, if like you're just like listening to music that you can jam to or whatever, but if you want something that really speaks to your soul and connects with you, I think that there is a lot to be said for letting flaws be there, or, you know, not always following the formula. Just a thought. I was listening yesterday to Jordan Rayner's podcast. It's Samir Christian's podcast. And the episode was with, oh boy, what's her name? Jodie Benson. Yeah, she was the voice of Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And, oh, it was just so encouraging. I'll leave a link in the description. She was talking about imperfectionism. It was like totally a God thing. I was so grateful for it. One thing that she was talking about was when she was recording the vocals for, like, the big song, she was encouraged to not sing perfectly and not always sing on pitch and to sometimes be talking, flowing in and out between talking and singing almost. And she said that it was like really hard for her. And she, couldn't really sit and listen back, which I could totally understand. Listening to yourself recorded raw, especially, it's tough. But that's part of what makes it so embraceable is that vulnerability and that imperfection. Because we can relate to that, right? Like that's how we are in real life. That's what we can connect to. So I think as artists, we shouldn't be afraid of that. We should embrace it and help that push us to be innovative and more creative. So that is primarily what's going around in my brain today, what's happening. After I get this song recorded, I want to start working on songwriting for the next song. I have some ideas down for a couple songs. I have a line down for one of the songs. But for now, I'm just going to kind of focus on one song at a time so I can you know, exist with that thought, that feeling, that idea. Um, Let that get bookended and then move on to the next one. So even though like it's all part of the same project, I kind of want to live in the world of each song one at a time so that the heart behind the song exists throughout the process of recording it. So we'll see how that goes. I am excited to get this one down um, and to start working on the next one. And I'm already kind of, getting a mood board down and thinking about ideas for photos and vibe, stuff like that. So, yeah, I will keep doing this. See you next time.